and welcome to episode 68, I think, of Stitched in Sweden. I'm Maria, and you can find me on Ravelry as M. Manska and on Instagram as Stitched in Sweden. Today is a little bit of a different episode. I am going to be bringing you along for my sew-a-thon, I'm calling it. And that's because I'm preparing to sew quite a few different garments today, and I will walk you through those with me now. And I'm just gonna kind of see how far I get today. I've already done a bit of preparation with cutting and everything, so I'll show you that, and today will be all about sewing. So let's get started. So I got a little bit of a later start than I was planning, and I don't know if this happens to you, but this is part of my feeling of wanting to do this kind of wardrobe architecture project, or capsule wardrobe kind of idea, is that even though I just spent, I don't know how long, a while folding laundry, which was a huge pile of laundry, I always feel like I have nothing to wear. And that is not a nice feeling to have. So I am going through my closet kind of bit by bit and thinking what clothes I want to keep and what I'm kind of done with and can donate. And then I hope I can sort of start to make more, I don't know, I just hope I can make some better decisions about what clothes I choose to buy or make, so that they are things that actually fit into my wardrobe and things that I actually want to wear. So that when I look in my closet or look in my drawers, that I can pick out anything and would be happy to wear that on any particular day. So to start out with, I'll just share with you what I am wearing right now, which is something that I do enjoy wearing. This is the Minetta Dress, and I've now made this pattern a few times. This is the version that in my last podcast was in the laundry, so I didn't have it to show you, but I don't think I did anyway. But this dress is out of just a lightweight jersey fabric. It's kind of a marled gray, light gray. And it has the neckline from the plantain pattern, which is a free shirt pattern from Deer and Doe. And I used the rest of the pattern is from the Minetta. So the bodice is the Minetta, and then the skirt is as well. And this, I don't know if you can see, probably not, but in the back of this dress, I actually have a seam down the back where there's not a seam, or there's not supposed to be a seam. But I do this thing where I am always convinced that the pattern fabric requirements are way too generous. So I basically try to get sew garments out of amounts of fabric which basically shouldn't be possible. So this whole dress is actually sewn from 1 meter of fabric, which I'm pretty sure is just over a yard. And I don't know how much this dress actually calls for, but I can promise you it's more than that. And so one of the things that I had to do to accommodate that, that I only had 1 meter, is that I had to cut the back in two different pieces, and that's fine with me because I actually kind of like the look of having a seam right down the middle in the back. So if you want to do that, basically you instead of having the back piece, which would be cut on the fold, you just cut it as one piece, and you add of course your seam allowance onto the line, which is otherwise the center back fold line. So I did that, and in that way I was able to kind of position the pattern pieces on my fabric so that they actually fit and that I could get it out of 1 meter. So that's pretty nice. And for this particular dress, that works really well because there was no pattern matching or anything to do. But of course, if you were trying to do something with stripes, which I'll show you talk about it in a little bit, then you might need a little bit more. But that is just sort of what I do, and it means that sometimes I have to be pretty creative in getting pieces to fit, but because of course you always want to stay with the pieces on the grain line in the right direction, otherwise you'll get wonky pieces. So anyway, I will go through now and show you what I'm planning on making today because I need to get started. So in no particular order, or just in the order that I have the fabric right now, I guess. I have this fabric, which is so I have some sunlight coming in now, but it's lovely, so I don't really care. This is I think it's called Cupro. I don't really know what Cupro is, but it's a really soft drapey fabric, and this is what I made my Blackwood cardigan. It's a long, kind of this blush pink color cardigan out of the same fabric, and I had just a bit of fabric left over, and I'm hoping that I can make this out of an make this into an odigen. I still don't know how to say this. Cami, which I don't have the picture of that, but it's basically just sort of a V cami with skinny straps, and it has a little V in the back too. And it's actually, the pattern calls for a woven fabric, and this is a knit fabric, but I didn't have enough for making the facings, and since it's a knit, I'm just going to try to do some kind of binding for the neckline. But I really had to kind of get creative with cutting strips, so I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Oh, no, you can see like some gross, that's disgusting. Dust. Not sure if that's gonna work, but I'm hoping that it will because I really like that fabric, and I actually want to get some more of that fabric next time that I go to that shop because it doesn't wrinkle and it's comfortable to wear and it's soft and drapey, and I think it looks really nice. My hair is still not dry yet, so I'm having a little bit of a flat hair situation, but that's how it is. The second pattern that I'm going to work on today, well, not in any order like I said, but I'm probably still going to say that, is the Merlilot, which is a pattern from Deer and Doe, and I'm going to make the version B with the collar from version A, and I'm planning on not having these bands on the arms, and I'm just gonna have a folded hem. So that will be made out of this just white viscose that I have here, which is super lightweight and drapey, and I won't be able to finish this one, first of all because I think buttonholes will take a while, and yeah, it's just, that one takes longer because it's a lot more pressing and stuff like that, which you don't need to do as much for the jersey or knit fabric pieces. So I know that one's going to take a little bit longer, also because it has French seams throughout the whole thing. But I don't have the buttons yet, so I won't be able to finish it anyway, but we'll just see how far I get. Another project I'm planning on working on today is the Inari cropped tee, and I am thinking that I'm not sure if this style is going to work for me. I'm interested in making the dress, actually. Like, I'm most interested in making the dress, which is kind of a cocoon shift dress, and I have some fabric for that in kind of like a jade green, and it's a ponte. Again, that word, don't know what it is. It's the same fabric that my rehearsal dinner dress, which was the tighter white dress with the back opening, if you saw the last episode. It's the same fabric that one's made out of, except in a dark green. And I would like to kind of test the fit of the shoulders using this fabric and making just the cropped tee version. So I'm gonna make this out of this kind of, yeah, florally print, and this is actually a scuba fabric. Here's the front. I think it's pretty. And I'm planning sort of, like, we'll see if this is even a style that's gonna work for me. I'm not sure if it is, but I can picture it with either a pencil skirt, like a black pencil skirt with like high-waisted, or a dark gray pencil skirt because the leaves in this are dark gray. Kind of a high-waisted pencil skirt and that just kind of floating over. So we'll see if that works. But I have enough fabric. I should have made it a little bit longer, I think, because I was pretty sure it was going to be too short. So I should have done that directly from the beginning. But I have enough fabric out of that fabric that if it seems like it's kind of what, if I think that I might actually like that cropped top, then if it turns out to be too short, I could make another one. Because I'm not really sure what else to do with scuba fabric. I know it's like really a popular fabric now, but I'm gonna have to see how it goes with the seams and stuff like that, because I kind of get the feeling that they're gonna be really thick, and I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but I'll just have to see. Another pattern today will be the plantain, and this is a top pattern. I'm going to make a 3/4 length sleeve version that I'm not doing the elbow patches, and I'm making kind of more of a cuff sleeve, which I'll show you later. But so far I'm really enjoying this pattern, and it's free, so I can completely recommend it. It's a really good beginner project for working with knits, and it's quite quick. So that is going to be out of this striped jersey, which is I think it must be like a viscose jersey because it's really drapey. And I'm hoping that will be a nice kind of fall transition top, which I could also wear into the winter with a cardigan. And speaking of cardigans, I'm finally going to make the Blackwood cardigan, another version of it. I have, like I said, that pink one, and I wear it all the time. I made it the long version, and originally I was gonna make this black one in a shorter version, and I could still do that, but I think now, now I have cut the long version because that's when I laid the fabric out. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna make the long version because I had a lot of fabric, and I really like the long version of the pink one, and that wouldn't have been something I normally would have worn. It's not something that I would have picked out, I think, at a clothing store to wear, but I really like it. So I'm gonna go with it, and I can always get other fabric to make a shorter version because, yeah, this is definitely a pattern which I consider a staple in my wardrobe, and it is pretty easy to sew. It's pretty quick. I eliminate the pockets, which makes it even quicker. Yeah, I don't usually put stuff in pockets. If I have them in a cardigan, I never put stuff in them. I usually only put things in my pants pockets. So even though it's a little bit of a design feature, I don't know, I think it looks clean and finished without it anyway. So that's the plan, and I think I'm going to get sewing. See you soon. Okay, so a little bit of an update. I have been working on the plantain top out of this black and white striped fabric, and so far so good. I am almost finished and it is 10:36, so this has taken me I think about an hour so far. I'm not finished yet though, because I still have the neckband, which will be quick, but the bottom hem always takes me a little while. So yeah, it's gonna be probably an hour and a half to 2 hour project, but here it is so far. Definitely looks like a shirt, so that is a plus. I was semi-successful in stripe matching the cuffs. There's actually a cuff sewn on here, which the stripe matching on that worked out pretty well. I need to decide if I'm going to do a little bit of top stitching on that. Also down the sleeves, there's a seam there you can maybe see, which is pretty much matched. And then down the side seam of the body, I have it pretty much matched here. I don't know if you can tell, but the place it isn't matched is at the shoulders. And that's something with this project that I wasn't really going to worry about, because I knew that I didn't have enough fabric to mess around with that too much. In the future, I would like to try to match it there, especially if it was for like a more formal garment with stripes. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Maybe I can work on that in the future, but I think I would need to look up some tutorial or something on how to do that, because I'm not exactly sure. A quick tip that I wanted to give you while I was sewing, or what I remembered while I was sewing, is my handy dandy, what is this called? Lint roller. So basically, I use this all the time while I'm sewing, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. Probably not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that right now I have lots of little like lint balls kind of on my desk, and this works also with little pieces of thread, and you can just clean it up and it's like the best thing ever, because then your work surface is totally clean again, especially if you're switching like different colors of fabrics and things like that. It's just nice to get rid of those little ends, and it just keeps the whole workspace neater, which I think results in a better end project. It just makes the whole experience nicer, and I personally think that I sort of have a neater mindset, and then this sounds really stupid, but then I am somehow more careful with my stitching. So I ran out of black thread. Luckily, I have one more spool, a small one, so I hope that it will be enough for the Blackwood cardigan, which, you know, is in black and needs black thread. So otherwise, I might have a little bit of a delay on that, but time to keep sewing. Okay, so shirt number 1 is finished, and I haven't tried it on yet, but I think it's gonna be good. It has a 3/4 length sleeve with a cuffed arm and a scoop neck, and I will give you a yeah, fashion show of all of them when I'm finished later today. So 1 down, 4 to go. It's not gonna happen. It's 11:15. I think I'm gonna go maybe eat a little bit of my lunch. We'll see. I'll be back soon. Bye. Okay, so up next is the Blackwood cardigan, which is a pattern from Helen's Closet, and I think I'm going to wait for lunch for a little bit because Thomas is actually coming home from an interview he just had. So I'll sew a little bit, see how far I can get with Blackwood, and then I'll take a break and have lunch with him. So here we go. it's 5 minutes before 12 and Thomas just got home, so we are going to have lunch. But I'm making good progress on the Blackwood, and all that's left is to sew on the cuffs, which I have right here, and then also to do the neckband. Otherwise, I also already sewed on the bottom band thing, which is kind of wrinkly. So should take just a few minutes after lunch, and then that one will be number 2 finished. So I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I am back from lunch and Thomas is sitting on the couch over there. But I'm also finished with my Blackwood cardigan. And what time is it?
13:13.
It's almost 1:15, and this was really quick. I think it was faster even than the striped one, partially because I wasn't worried about matching stripes, but also because this is a more kind of sturdy, stable knit than this one, which is more drapey and kind of flowy in a way that makes the striped one more difficult to sew. Not that it's hard to sew, but it just makes this one that's more sturdy a lot quicker because I don't have to be quite as careful. And yeah, it fits great, just like the other one, and I decided to go with the long version. I think it works well with dresses, and I'm really happy with it. The neckband was tricky on this one because this fabric rolls so much, and you have to basically make this super long strip, and it was just rolling like crazy. So I had to pin it a lot, and it still kind of like rolled a little bit. If I was to make this again, I think I would use this Cupro fabric or whatever it's called that I made the first one out of, this like much drapier sort of jersey, because one of the things that was really nice about this, as you can see here, it doesn't roll like at all, which made it really easy to fold in half and sew on when I did the band before. But this one definitely has a different feeling. Like I said, it's a bit more sturdy, and I like it. I think it will become a good wardrobe staple. So on to the next. Now that I have cleaned up all the black fuzz from my Blackwood cardigan, I'm going to start with the Inari cropped top from Named Patterns. And this is a pattern company that is Finnish, and it's 2 sisters who own the company. And like I said before, I'm not quite sure how the fit on this one's going to be. I think it might be a little bit short for my taste, but I guess if I make a high-waisted skirt, it could work. So I'm going to change out my black thread and get started with this. Okay, so I had to unload a little bit of video footage on my computer because I don't have so much space on my memory card. And in the meantime, I have been continuing to work on the Inari cropped top, which is from Named Patterns, like I said. And I didn't read the whole pattern in the beginning like you're supposed to, so I was a little bit surprised to see that there is some hand stitching required for finishing off this top, which is not really a problem, but it definitely slows it down from like an hour-long project to a little bit longer. So not that it's a race, but right now it is 2 o'clock and I have sewn together the, I'm trying to sew and talk at the same time. And my hair is driving me crazy. I'm getting my hair cut on September 6th. No, I can't wait. I've sewn together the shoulder seams and the side seams of the top, and I have sewn part of the sleeve together. And that's what I'm working on right now, is getting the cuff of the sleeve. Here it is. So this is the sleeve, and this little cuff part needs to be hand stitched to the sleeve. So I'm working on that now. I did a little bit of understitching on the inside of this edge, and the reason I did that is because this, well, first of all, I have, in the past, I have not always understitched things. Mostly I have, because I figured out pretty early that it was a really good idea to do. So I've never been disappointed when I do understitch, when I take that little extra time to do understitching. But I have been disappointed by not doing it. So I try to remind myself of that when I think, do I really need to understitch? Usually the answer is yes. All understitching is a little row of stitching that is usually attaching the seam allowance to the inside part of a turned fabric. So it's just a little extra row of stitching that kind of encourages the lining or the underside of something to stay on the underside rather than to roll out to the front side where you don't want to see it. A common place that you do this is if you are doing a facing for neckband, like if you're doing a neck facing or something, which this top also has, then you can do that so that the facing part doesn't like come out, stick out, or just roll out on the edge. This didn't suggest to do understitching for the sleeves, but because this is a thick scuba fabric, I felt like it needed it, and just putting in that extra line of stitching there sort of flattens down the otherwise bulky seam a little bit. So I think it's a good choice in this case, and I'm sure I'll be happy with it in the end. And that part wasn't the part that took a long time. It's this hand stitching around the edge, which is going to take me a little bit of time. That's okay. If it's not too distracting while I am stitching this sleeve, I thought I would talk a little bit about the kind of idea of the curated closet and capsule wardrobe, whatever you want to call it. I have gone through all of the posts. I haven't like done all the exercises or whatever you want to call them on the Colette blog with the wardrobe architecture, but I have looked through a lot of them and done some of them. Probably would be good to start from the beginning and do them all like in order, but I just haven't done that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically on the Colette sewing blog, which is a super helpful blog and it's a great resource for all things sewing, they basically go through a year-long process, I think it ends up being, and they've done it a couple of times, where they are kind of identifying your personal style, identifying silhouettes that work for you and that you feel comfortable wearing, and figuring out a way to build a wardrobe that functions like as it's not only about making like a tiny capsule wardrobe with like 10 pieces of clothing or something like that, but also about finding things that you're comfortable wearing that go well together, that mean that you can wear things with different, like you can wear different combinations of things in your wardrobe, and sort of make new outfits from that. And just to feel better about what you wear and to feel like you have clothes to wear when you yeah, open your closet. So that is kind of definitely an inspiring idea for me. I feel like I don't have anything to wear when I open my closet. I talked a little bit about this before, and I like Colette's perspective in a way because they are also making a lot of the items, trying to make as much of their wardrobe handmade as possible, which is appealing to me because I like wearing things that I make. I feel good wearing things that I make, and I also really hate shopping for clothes. So it's a good, but I enjoy shopping for fabric. So it's kind of a happy place for me if I can buy fabric to make clothes that fit me well and that I actually want to wear, and that I feel like the quality can be better, although the quality isn't always better with handmade clothing. Even if you, like, maybe you make the quality better somehow because, I don't know, you are careful with your seams or whatever like that, stuff like that. But something to keep in mind is that it comes down, a lot of times it comes down to the quality of the fabric that you use, and that's not always possible to get super high quality fabric. And high quality fabric doesn't mean expensive fabric necessarily, because sometimes expensive fabric can still pill or snag or whatever, and in the end you have a garment that won't last long. So I don't really know exactly how to assess the quality of fabric always, but there are definitely some signs of things that I know, like when I'm looking at fabric in the store, if I can sort of compare the feel of the fabric to maybe a shirt that I had once or something that I know didn't last very long, only went through the wash a couple of times before it was kind of sad looking, then those are some things that I try to think about when I'm buying fabric. And yeah, I think that there's probably a lot to learn about ethically sourcing fabrics and things like that, and I haven't really delved into that yet. And I'm not sure that I will, but I think when I have the choice, I will try to be thoughtful in my fabric choices as well. Anyway, I am coming to the end of one of the sleeves with the hand stitching, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one now. Just going to end this little side note here with that like I said, I find the Colette blog super helpful. I really enjoyed their posts on the wardrobe architecture, and I have ordered the what's it called? It's a word that starts with a C. The Curated Closet. I've ordered that book actually, and I just got the shipping notification, so it should be coming soon. And that's a book that I have heard from others is a very good way to start to kind of figure out what in your wardrobe isn't working and how you can make it better. So that doesn't have the handmade part of it in that book, but I think it still will be a useful tool for me, and I hope that it's good. So here is sleeve number 1 finished. I have sewn on the kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a cuff, but kind of like a little cuff thing, and it will be something like that when it's finished. So I'm going to sew the other one, and then I will be stitching it onto the top. I think I lost one video here when I was recording without any battery left, or without any memory left. But here is the top so far, and I think that the size is good. Looks like the shoulders are going to be in a good position for me, which is often a problem. And I think it's not going to be too croppy, but it definitely is like going to be a looser sort of, yeah, I think it will be nice though. And I think it will look good, like if you could imagine my dress as a skirt, then I think it will look good with a skirt. So that might be what I need to make next. I haven't hemmed the bottom yet. Yeah, technically I don't need to because it's this scuba knit, which you can leave with a raw edge and it's fine. But I also just am not sure if I want to hem it yet. Like I want to be totally finished with it, try it on with a pair of pants, because if it's really close to being a level where I'll wear it versus not wear it, if it's too short, then I won't hem it. But otherwise I probably will. But I'll just have that be the last thing I do. So I'm off to do the next sleeve and I will see you again soon. Bye. Alright, so I have attached the sleeves and the first part of the facing. So here you can see the sleeves and the facing is still turned out right now. And what I'm going to do next is to flip the facing to the inside, and I'm going to do, again, I'm going to do this understitching so that the facing doesn't flop out. And then I probably also will stitch in the ditch and along the shoulder seam, catching the facing in there so that, again, just another way to try to keep it from flopping out. So sleeve stitching on went well and it's really starting to come together. So I don't know how much energy I'm gonna have to do the last two, but I think, I don't know, we'll have to see. Right now it is 3 o'clock. Top number 3 is finished. Here it is. This is the Inari top from Named, and it's the crop top version. I have not tried it on yet, but I will. I'm not sure if the facing is gonna stay in. I did the stitch in the ditch at the sleeves, but I'm just not sure if it's going to stay there or not. So I might have to figure out a way to attach it at some other points. Or if, yeah, I don't know if doing a facing is the best finishing technique for scuba fabric. I haven't used it before, so I don't really know. But I did find that the seams are a bit bulky. Like I'm noticing it feels like the seams, which are supposed to be pressed towards the bodice, like these sleeve seams, I might need to like stitch the seams down because they are pretty bulky. I don't know, I might just get over it. But here it is, and I think it looks pretty good. I'll have to see. Like I said, I'll try it on with pants. I think it's gonna be too short if I hem it, but with like a pencil skirt, I think it could work. So here it is for now, and I'll show it again, like actually at the end. But yeah, pretty successful, I think. Okay, so I am feeling a little bit slightly overwhelmed by the last 2 projects that I picked because, I don't know, with the cami I have to figure out how I'm going to do the neckband, so that's gonna take a little while, and I don't know, I just not really feeling like tackling that at the moment. And with the Merlilo or whatever, no, Melilo top, which is the white blouse, that somehow seems daunting because I have to yeah, do a lot of French seams and pressing, and it's like kind of a delicate material, so I have to be careful when I'm handling it so that it doesn't get pulled out of place and whatever. So I was just walking around with the crop top on a little bit, and I was thinking this really needs a pencil skirt, otherwise there's no way I'm gonna wear it. So I pulled out this actually pretty itchy wool jersey that I have, which is quite thick as well. It's like a wool blend of some sort, and I'm not going to use it for anything else. I thought it was going to be like a nice soft jersey that I could use to make like some camisoles or something for like winter underwear type clothing, but it's not happening because it's way too itchy. So this is going to be perfect to make a skirt, so I'm going to do that right now. And I'm just basically using the same pattern that I used to make my tighter fitting white rehearsal dinner dress. And how I did that was I measured my skinniest point of my waist, and then I measured my largest part of my hips slash bottom, and I measured the distance in between those two, and I just basically took a piece of paper, did actually a quarter of my waist measurement plus seam allowance, so that it was like the, yeah, whatever, a quarter of my waist size in a line across the top. And then I went down as far as the distance between my waist and my hips, which was like, I don't know, 7 inches or something. And then I drew another line there, the quarter of the size of my hip dimension. And then I drew kind of like a curved line between those two to kind of just imagine that it was my body. And then I drew it straight down from the hip point so that it's, yeah, straight from there. So I'll put a waistband on that and see how it goes. All right, so I have sewn down the two sides of the skirt after cutting it out, and I have it on right now. And I have it on inside out because I wanted to give you this little tip, is if you are fitting things, you should try it on inside out, so then you can pin it on yourself to make any adjustments. So I just have my dress kind of tucked up here, and I have the skirt on. So you can see here's my belly button. And I want it to be pretty fitted, so I think this is going to be a good size. I'm going to just, so you can see the seams here are exposed because it's inside out, and I need just to pinch off the tiniest bit on either of the sides, just at the top. And I'm going to put a waistband on this. I think I'm also actually going to cut off about an inch so that then I can put the waistband on over that. Actually, maybe I'll just leave it on, and that will be my seam allowance. I will be back. Real life is running out of bobbin thread and not realizing it until you are inches and inches away from where you lost the thread. The skirt is going well. I have attached the waistband, and I top stitched it so that it won't roll. And now that I have more bobbin thread, I am going to finish off the hem, and it will be finished. So an unexpected or an unplanned project that is super quick. Let's see, it is 3:56 now. So that gives you an idea. I don't remember exactly when I started this part, the skirt, but it is less than an hour for sure, and I had to cut out the fabric and everything for this one, so very quick project, and I think it will be a good piece as long as it's not too itchy. So I'll have to see. It might be a good winter skirt because then I'll wear it with tights and then it won't really matter if it's itchy. So I will be back to show you it when it's finished. This is the front. And that's it. Basically kind of tubey thing. I did a nice big 2-inch hem, and I will be sure to show you this in action later with my other makes for today. Well, I'm going to take a little break and then I'm gonna kind of think about if I really want to make the other 2 tops today, or which one I'm gonna make, if I'm just gonna make one of them. So I will be back in a bit. All right, so I think that my sewing day is coming to a close. So I thought I would run through and do a quick share of what I made today, the final kind of fashion show of the day, I guess, and talk through the pieces a little bit. So this is the Inari top from Named, and I made a couple of modifications in the end. I took in the side seams a bit because it was just a little too floaty, and I'm wearing it with the pencil skirt that I just made, and I think it's a good length because it just kind of hovers over the skirt, which is what I was going for. And yeah, I think that this is definitely wearable. I'm not sure where I'm gonna wear it. Let's see if I can get a view of the whole skirt. No, but fits pretty well, and I would say it is a success. I decided in the end to hem the bottom of this top because I thought that it was cutting across my body at kind of a weird point, like right in the middle, and I thought it would be better just a tiny bit shorter, and once I had the skirt on I could see the appropriate length for that. So I did hem the bottom, and I'm not really sure how it's going to work with the facings because it's just kind of poofy, and that's just the nature of the scuba fabric, but I don't know if I will use scuba again. I will definitely make this top again, and I will slim it down a little bit, as well as lengthen it a tad. I think I could go with, yeah, if I'm gonna wear it with pants, I think I would lengthen it, but if I'm gonna wear it with a skirt, this length works fine. But I'm happy with how it fits in my shoulders, which is a problem that I often have, and I think that the facing would work normally. It's just that this fabric is a little bit strange. Now I will go ahead and try on the plantain top. Here is the plantain top, and I have it tucked into the skirt that I made. I think that I will most likely wear this with black pants, black jeans. I'm not sure if this is the best place for it to hit me because it hits me at the widest point of my hips, but I think with black jeans it will be nice, and since it's kind of flowy and loose, like the body part is sort of flowy and loose. You can see that from the pattern picture, which I don't have anymore. But the sleeves are more fitted, and everything else is like it's fitted on the bust, and the bottom just goes out a little bit. But I'm really happy with it. This will definitely be a top that I can see myself reaching for on a daily basis, or waiting to come out of the laundry, because it's already really comfortable. I think the neckline is attractive, and I like the kind of solid feeling of the cuffs on the sleeves that I made. I actually kind of learned this cuff technique from the Blackwood cardigan from the first time I made it, and I use that now. I've used it a couple times for other things. but it just gives it kind of like a substantial edge feeling, which I like. So this is it, and I'll give you a little closer view. I didn't iron the whole thing, so that's all that is, but yeah, really happy with how that one turned out. So, here is the Blackwood cardigan, and I decided to put on some black jeans that I have. These are kind of my regular pants that I wear kind of on a daily basis. Maybe this would be a better outfit with a pair of jeans, but I don't currently, like a pair of blue jeans. I don't currently have a pair of blue jeans. So I have only these black ones, but I think this is definitely an outfit that I can see myself wearing a lot, and I like the feeling of this cardigan. It feels really nice. The only thing is that this is a struggle that I often have. I like wearing 3/4 length sleeve shirts, but they are super annoying to wear with a cardigan over them. So a little bit closer view. Yeah. So I do really like wearing 3/4 length shirts, and I like how this one fits and everything. But one of the problems that I have is anytime that you try to wear a 3/4 length shirt with a cardigan on top, it's like such a struggle in the sleeve, which is annoying. This one was stretchy enough that for the cardigan that I could pull it on, and it ended up being fine. But it kind of is something that drives me crazy with 3/4 length shirts, sleeved shirts. But whatever, that's what I decided to make for this one. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. So let's see. In summary, today we had the Inari top, the pencil skirt, the Blackwood cardigan, and the plantain shirt. 4 makes today, and I think that's gonna do it. I am feeling hungry and tired, so it's around, I think, 4:30, so 9:15 to 4:30 or so. That's a pretty good day for sewing, and I have a lot of new makes, 2 of which, like these 2, will definitely be weekly items in my closet. So I think I'll take the rest of the afternoon to do a little bit of planning of what I'm gonna sew next. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy sewing and happy knitting!